Good morning, everybody. Josh Armstrong from U.S. Workboats. Happy Saturday. Here we're talking about the subject is hold your horses. And the holding we're talking about is securing. We're talking about securing our work. And we're also going to talk about not working on the floor. The floor is the least productive place to work. There are some times where we have a big piece and we're going to put it maybe down on dunnage. We're never going to put anything on the floor. Dunnage would be the lowest we'd put it. We're really working on sawhorses is the horses I'm talking about. We're talking about securing our work. Because if our work's not secure, it's gonna be more dangerous. We're also gonna get less done. So that's where we're gonna get started. Okay, everybody, when I'm talking about sawhorses, I'm talking about, sawhorses have been, that term has been around for a long time, and it's, just means maybe that the horse, somebody sits on their back. Well, these things, you can find them in wood shops all over the planet. These garbagey things made out of wood. We don't like much wood. Wood is for burning in the fire. But these here are made out of aluminum, and they're nice and light, easy to carry around. These ones are made out of 3x3 by 0.190 square tubing with a radius corner, which I really like. I'd prefer to make ours out of 1/8 wall square tubing, because they're even lighter. These are a little bit heavier than they need to be if you're trying to carry 3 or 4 of them at once. I like the lighter ones. These ones would you could probably put a mini excavator on these. I'm quite certain you could put 5,000–6,000 pounds on these. So that means we probably aren't putting 5,000–6,000 pounds on the average sawhorse. So we could make them out of a little bit thinner material. I do like them nice and strong. You actually will see sometime that I sometimes put small boats on these things because they're really strong. Anyways, this is the basic design of sawhorse that I like. I'm really quite disappointed in the guy who made them. I'm not going to name him right now, but he didn't make them perfectly symmetrical. And I like everything perfectly symmetrical and all the same lengths. But one of the things he did do for me, because I asked him to, you might notice that he actually made them the same height as my workbench. Okay? Now, I have a tendency to like to do things like that because I might have a workbench on a sawhorse, and I might say I want to work on both surfaces, and they should be the same height. You guys hear over and over that I'm always, every tool I talk about, we need to make sure that we're working down on the table or it's secure. Okay, well, the same is going to be true with this. If it's a sawhorse or it's a workbench, we want to be able to clamp to it, and we want to be able to have that surface. We want to have down with contact on it. Okay, guys, we got 2 new workbenches that I had somebody fabricate down in our work area, and there's a few other sort of crummy old ones which we can keep using, but we're going to upgrade our workbenches. We're going to upgrade our sawhorses because we like a nice surface to work on. One thing I'm really curious is I asked the guy to put a vise onto the workbench, and he didn't do that, and I don't know why. Well, I asked him to. He seemed to say that he understood me, and he didn't do it. Well, my workbench, as you guys might have noticed, has 2 vices on it. Well, why? Why does mine have 2? Well, it's because I like to have my work secure. You're going to get lots more done if you can secure your work. These vices are not expensive. These things they're not expensive. They work really well. I have 2. Workbench down there has none. Well, why? I mean, come on. Let's have one of these vices. Let's get some of them. Let's bolt them on there nice and tight. And we're going to be able to secure our work. When our work's secure, we're going to get more done. I want to talk about these clamps a little bit. I have a few different types of clamps here. Now, Vice Grip is a brand. There's other kinds of brands of vice grips, and I don't have any regular just vice grips. We'll use those sometimes. But these kind come in really handy, and I got a couple of different ones here. They're different sizes, but they also have different types of feet on them. See these ones here, they have these little ball feet on here. I mean, I don't like those very much. I mean, it's not like they're not okay. They're okay, but they tend to roll around a little bit. I don't like those very much. I like it with the feet like this on here. These are a much superior type of foot. These also, these are a little bit expensive when you get big ones. You get ones with really long jaws on them and wider and stronger. I like better tools, you guys. I keep saying that I like better tools. So I like a better style foot because it holds our work better. Anyways, those are like a vice grip clamp that have, I don't know what the technical term for that kind of a vice grip clamp is, but Obviously, it goes over something, and we get some depth. We can get in and we can grab with that. And it's really a handy thing. This is a bar clamp, folks. Now, this is what I'd expect to find in a wood shop or some junky welding shop where they don't know what they're doing. This thing is a piece of junk. It's an absolute piece of junk. It has this slide on here. Those aren't any good. They won't hold any pressure. It has no foot on here. It has a broken handle. I'll tell you where that belongs. It belongs in the trash can. It's junk. Why do you guys have junk? You work with junk, you do poor work. Okay, we have a nice new bar clamp. This is a 24-inch bar clamp. It's got a 6-inch throat. Okay, well, I happen to know this one is actually made, it's called a Bessey clamp. That's a brand. I really like Bessey clamps, and I like the heavy-duty ones. I don't like the fact somebody has already ground a big notch in the foot. I don't like the fact that somebody's busted this off of here and not replaced it. You treat the tools like you treat your work, like junk. Not impressed with that. So we're using this with this little ball on here. Surprise, surprise, you can't hold your work very well. Okay, you took an expensive clamp, you wrecked it, you do a poor job. This is how this thing comes, okay? Now this clamp is probably about, $40 item, and you can get a more expensive one with a better foot. I'd like to get you guys better clamps, but stop stealing them, would you? Because we need to clamp our work down. Okay, that's a little bit about clamps. Okay, guys, I said I like these sawhorses, and it's because I don't want to work on the floor. I like to work up high because I'm going to do more, and also if I'm not bent over all day, my back isn't going to bother me as much. I've broken my back before, by the way, and I like to work up high. Tell you a couple things about square tube that I like. If you look down here, I took my deburring tool, my pen, and a pair of pliers, and I stuck them in the end of that, okay? Because I always have those things on me, but I'm just making an example of the fact you can fit all kinds of little random things in there. Or actually got my tape measure clipped on over here. It's got an open end that's like a shelf on the end. I don't have my workbench here, but I have this, and I'm not setting it on the floor when I'm in the middle of using it. I've also taken this bar clamp here, this Bessey bar clamp, and I've tightened this down onto two spots, and I've got my work really well secured. If I was going to take and I was going to cut the end off of that with my saw, I got it on here, I got a line drawn on here, and I got this really secure. Guess what? That's not going to get away from me. It's not going to go bang and zip, and it's like it's secure, and I don't have a whole work table. I just have a couple of sawhorses. And we also know these sawhorses are nice and strong. You can put tons of stuff on them. I might have 2 of these. I might have 3. I might have 4. I might have a dozen of them because I got them all over the place. Let's make some more of these things up. I like sawhorses. Okay, guys, I'm down in the shop here at one of my new workbenches, and him talking about being disappointed there's no vise on here, but I want to show you something that's really cool. And what I think is cool about it is, well, actually one of my friends, you might be able to guess where he's from, or at least the geographic area where he's from. But, this is a board with a vise on it, okay? Now, sometimes you've heard of maybe a meat and cheese platter or charcuterie board, or we call this a vise board, okay? I kind of like to think about the charcuterie anyways, but if we can take this thing, we can carry it around anywhere with us. It's really easy to carry. It's not too big. Take it up on the boat somewhere. We'll bring it over, and we'll take a couple of pairs of vice grip clamps. We'll take and we'll slide that up off the edge, and we'll give that a quick clamp, and voila, we have a vise. We have it anywhere where we want it. That wasn't too bad. It's not very expensive. Take it virtually anywhere, and you can hold your work. Okay, we got another situation, folks. We got a piece of aluminum channel here. It's less than 2 feet long. We're not going to cut it with a chop saw because it's going to be dangerous. We don't have a bandsaw. There's no vise on our table. Actually, maybe we're not even anywhere near a table. Who knows? But we've got this piece, and I've decided I wanted 4 2-inch chunks cut off the end of it. Thinking, well, I could cut that with my skill saw that I happen to have around because I like that thing. Going, but what do? I should hold this thing. I got an idea for you guys. The other thing we might have in a welding shop is a welder, okay? So I'm going to take them, I'll weld this to the bench. I'm going to put it out here so these pieces are off the end. and I'm going to weld it on here. I'll be right back with you. Okay guys, now I put a little weld on this side, and I've actually got one. You don't have to see this. I got one on the other side too. I got it held in 2 places, and I've got some marks on here. I got my saw. Actually, this one's a friend of mine's saw, and I really like this one too. It looks cool. You can cut this off of here. It's not going to fly anywhere. Cut the outside bit, the next one, the next one, the next one. It's not going anywhere. It's not dangerous. We'll break this off our table afterwards. Real good way to hold something when we didn't have the right stuff. We just weld it down. It's easy, guys. Okay guys, I'm over at the chop saw again. There's a little bit of repeat because you've already seen this chop saw, but I've got a piece of square tube, and I'm thinking I want to make a nice cut here, and this is kind of a shorter piece. Also got this bar clamp, this Bessie clamp that I like a lot. I'm going to go ahead and clamp it. Once I've got it lined up where I want to cut it, I'm going to get this in here. I'm going to just go ahead and tighten that up on that fence. I'm just going to tighten it up nice and tight. And if anybody thinks that's going to get away from me, they're wrong. It's going to be held in there really good. Takes a second. Super simple. So we're talking about holding your horses, and also you've heard about horseplay or horsing around. So holding your horses is the exact opposite of horsing around. We're meaning to secure the work so that we're safe. So thanks for watching today.